the sky and still I rise.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. This is your host, Minute Lawrence, coming to you live from the studios at Best 100 FM. Normally, I would at this point mention Pastor Percival, but I am waiting on him to arrive, and I'm not sure it's the day after Father's Day, and who knows, some fathers might not make it out this morning, depending on how well they were celebrated or not. But good morning to all the fathers across Jamaica, recovering from all the love and the pampering and the spoiling that you got yesterday. Good morning to those listeners who have joined us on air and online. Coming through halfway through this morning, it was so quiet. It was like back in those back in the day when we didn't see the sunlight as we were heading out. This morning, halfway through was looking like not many people made it out at the crack of dawn. Pastor Percival. The only thing missing is the shorts that I beg you to wear this morning. But otherwise, looking good. I see the family crest is on the bosom too. But good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Because yesterday was Father's Day, I want to spend some of the time this morning just looking at how we handled our fathers yesterday, continuing the celebration for I'm going to say one more day, but certainly more than once in the days ahead. We're going to look back at the importance of our fathers in building homes, building families, and most especially in nation building. So we're very pleased to be here with you. It is our mission every morning that we take the microphone. We are determined and committed to giving you the best of our ideas, our conversation, whatever we can do to inspire you and set you on a path for a productive and an uplifting day. Many things are happening around us which would cause us to feel that if all is not lost, it very nearly is. But at the same time, we like to look on the other side of the coin and recognize that in as much as things are looking grim, there is hope and there is room for a lot of growth and a lot of positivity. When you get lemons, you make lemonade, and some of us are great lemonade makers. There is a very important case that starts this morning, God's willing. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit because, one of the things that we should never shy away from doing is using our experiences to be a point of hope or inspiration, or sometimes even just a hard lesson for our brothers and sisters. I would hate for you to be listening to my voice and thinking, wow, all is well, or she's got it made, or something that is unrealistic. The truth is, you should think all is well because it is well. But for you to understand what makes it well is my mission and my purpose to share with you some of the harsh realities of life that we have to contend with on a daily basis and still step forward and still make a contribution and still inspire and motivate. So that's where we are this morning. Happy to be here, happy to be talking to you and feeling quite positive that we have something to offer that will make a difference. Oh, I'm getting the break signal already. All right, so it is 6:30. Please stay with us. We're going to come back and set our program for the day. This is the Morning Connection, live from Best 100 FM studios.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
easy. Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer to truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Don Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
This is your beloved Pastor Percy from the Morning Connection. Support our commitment to Jamaica by joining us on Wednesday mornings at 7:30 when we pray for the nation. Show us you care. Advertise with us. For more information, call our offices at 876-276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best
Welcome back and thank you for sticking around. Good morning, Delroy Henry, giving us the UK shout out and the Jamaica love. Thank you. And may your cup also overflow with peace, love, and pure awesomeness. Pastor Percival, welcome.
Yes, good morning. Wow, what a day it was yesterday.
Well, don't
It was
show
Father's Day. Oh,
don't show off. Just tell us.
No, it was simply, we decided.
And who's the we?
We, family, just decided to go and celebrate it with my father. We don't call him my father-in-law. That's my wife's father.
Thought your father in heaven. That's how it sounded to me.
That'd be cool. But we went and we celebrated the day with him. And it was good. It was kind of a shortened because the only three of us went down because the youngest had performance yesterday or ministry yesterday at church, and then he had it at another function, and then my oldest son was out on the weekend with his friends, just kind of celebrating his recent ending of his first tertiary education. So, but we came back together in the end, at the end of the day. It was a good day, and then the family had a surprise for me. Oh, we have decided, not you have decided. We have decided. Plotting with my co-host.
Oh, because I was wondering.
Plotting with my co-host.
Why you were looking at me?
Yes. Plotting with my co-host.
Oh, boy.
This is our Father's Day gift for you, that we are sending you off to go and chill. And you have no such worries. And then somebody says, boy, I never knew there were so many things we have to take care of.
when you go off.
And I said, okay, all right.
Oh,
but a shout out to all the fathers. Yesterday at church, we had an original Father's Day selection from our band members who just came up with a real reggae song, just paying tribute to fathers across the nation. And I think it's something that they should actually make into a record. Yeah, man, yeah, publish. It was a wonderful record. It was good. It was so good, and I was there thumbing my feet. And big up to the band on the stand at church, and it was very good. And we paid tribute to our fathers. At least the ladies at church paid tribute to all the fathers within our congregation, both sides, online, church in Mandeville, church over in Portmore. So it was a good day. But it just brought into sharp focus the importance of fathers in every society around the world. We had a major debate, Somebody put up this, I don't know what they call it. Probably Eden could help us. I don't know if it's a meme or a picture. Some Mother's Day see the big old chicken. And then on Father's Day see the only chicken foot.
What does that mean?
So it brought out a major discussion online in terms of one of our communities. They were just highlighting the fact that on Mother's Day,
Yes.
people go out, but on Father's Day, it seemed it is a kind of muted
So was
celebration.
it a cooked chicken?
It was a cooked chicken. So it was a
Okay.
cooked chicken. It was
So
cooked chicken.
yeah.
Um,
So on Mother's Day,
have a whole.
the women cooked a whole chicken,
No,
or the men cooked a whole chicken
I
for
don't
the
know if it's the
women.
men cook the whole chicken. It's
Because you
just
see, that's part of the conversation. Who cooked the
this
chicken?
But in terms of, but I think it was more symbolic of how it is. The
Yeah.
spread is in terms of Mother's Day, how they are celebrating, and then Father's Day is more a muted celebration.
Somebody just threw a chicken foot on the plate
Yes.
and say, hold that.
You know, so it brought out all different, and people began to discuss why is it so? Is it is there a spiritual thing to it?
Yeah.
Well, Miles Monroe believes so. Who's the now deceased? That really he believes there has been a targeted thing to really attack men and their role and their function within society on a whole in terms of degrading what they do. And I had to say to them, well, you know, we've had this narrative for a very long time. Remember last week I spoke about sperm donors, and somebody called in and says, "What do you mean?" I says, "Well, remember one of the
Alright,
things
was
that has
the
come
one
out
who
of
asked
slavery,
Yeah.
in terms of how they dealt with family, and the men were studs and they were going across the planter used him as a stud too because he wanted to keep his stock going. And so if you remove the gentleman and he sees himself only as a sperm donor, has no relationship to his children, a lot of things are perpetuated over time, and we've got to break that. So I don't know if for us as black persons, people who have come out of that stock, if we've been set back in terms of understanding our importance in terms of family. Because they were saying in other societies, you don't see it so pronounced in terms of the father not being present within his family and thing. It's a moot point, but we can do some further research and pull the data to see if what we are seeing represented in African societies around the world is the same thing versus the Caucasian, the Indian, the Chinese, and so on. But we celebrate our fathers who are standing up to their role in terms of what they are called to do with the woman, in terms of ensuring that the family is the first place of teaching of everything. And then if the values are imparted there, then a lot of the problems we're having would not be there. Which is why in Deuteronomy 6, it says to the Jewish, when you've come into the land, make sure you pass on your values. And the instruction was to the fathers. When you sit down, when you lie down, when you go on the road, tell them what it is God has done and instruct them in terms of the law of God.
You know, you have me, I'm just listening and thinking because I am one person who resists falling in line with the traditional points of attack and arguments that suggest either that there is a deliberate strategy by, well, I know there's a strategy by the enemy, and by this now I just mean every force that opposes righteousness and good and order.
Right, correct.
There's always a strategy to disable
Person.
systems at a point where, at whatever might be perceived as the weakest point. Relationships and family are always at the top of that list because your emotions and your vulnerability in that setting is always such that everybody can be caught at a weak point, a weak moment, if you watch their relationship and if you watch how they interact, how they relate to children and in family situations. So I know that is so. But there are some things which we know to be true, which makes me careful. I know, for example, that the basis for power in all societies, with maybe very few exceptions, the foundation of power, wealth, political power, military power, whatever you can, conceive of as being bastions of power, are still operated, owned, controlled by men. That continues to be so. You might have women rising to a certain level in terms of their education and the positions they occupy and so on. But if you look across the world and look at who controls what, men. So when the media is carrying a particular narrative or emphasizing a particular thing, men. If any man who has that kind of power decides that this will not make the front page, that will not be, given any prominence, it is done. So even when you have the whole chicken and the chicken foot, that is a narrative that is being curated by someone who is playing to what they think the crowd want, or the immediate emotional touch points. But at the end of the day, in the back room where decisions are being made and where positions are being taken, men. So then you ask yourself, is the man the author of his own demise? Is he the one who, through how he manipulates or treats with certain circumstances, sets the immediate narrative, even if over time it works against him or it works for him? Doesn't matter. But right now, in the short-term planning, men are the one who are setting the stage and who are controlling the players. If you pull away the curtain, there's a man behind it, organizing something or doing something that will create a particular outcome.
Even if he doesn't recognize that ultimately he's playing into a game plan.
Yes. Even if ultimately he's being manipulated by the enemy, because there's something above that is pulling the strings, or something below, whichever directional force you want to apply. So I think about it, I listened, and I was saying, well, it is so for so many things. You hear stories about the some of the greater, well, maybe all of them, at the heart of military offenses, sexual predatory behavior, violence, and all kinds of terrible things happening in the streets. Men. If you have, if you have 33 defendants before the court for gang activities and so on, one of them a woman. Although there was only one woman in the group.
If any at all.
If any at all. And while you will hear too that women are playing a role at a secondary level in giving effect to some of these things, the directions, the instructions are coming from their boyfriend, baby father, them, whatever. They are playing the role of support to the different schemes and so on that are coming out of the men. So
I wanna throw
go
something
ahead.
in that mix.
Is it a chicken foot?
I know I want to throw a whole chicken into it.
All right, I get it.
But it is interesting that you have said that, because a man without a head is like a chicken.
Yes,
like
the chicken without a foot.
No, not chicken without a foot. A man without his understanding how he lines up in terms of what God has said is like like those of us who come from country, and you grow fowls and them getting ready for Sunday dinner, and they catch one of the white fowls and chop off the head off, and he runs around for a time. I liken that to a man who does not understand that the father is ultimately his head, and not being in relationship with your creator cause you to run around not understanding,
like a headless
fowl, and it has created the problems because it comes out of a basic position which says I know what I am doing, not knowing that you have to be always in relationship with the God who has created you in order to understand purpose, to fulfill destiny, and out of not submitting yourself to the authority of God, you perpetuate these things and you think you're doing the right thing, but in the end you're ultimately walking down a path of destruction. What do you think to that? And
No,
I think
I
that
absolutely love what you are saying right there. You've hit it on the
Head.
missing head.
as if you would say that, but
Yes,
it's true.
because let's line it up. If we accept that the design is, oh, that was horrible. If we accept that the original design has man, woman as the perfect partner
Yes.
to carry out this dominion mandate, then if man is not submitted to the creator, everything that flows from his work.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Just follow back on
Oh,
me. Okay.
okay,
So
we're
so
doing
this is how it
something.
works. So this is
Yes.
God, man,
Yes.
woman, children. When the man out, which is come out of position, what happens? What's supposed to
Well,
flow is broken up.
Yes, but the first thing I'm not liking is there's no man standing on my head.
No, it's not standing on it. It's in terms of
But
the flow
that's how
spirituality. I know, but I was just using that thing. But it
I know,
actually
I
it
know, I know, I
actually
know.
points to
Yeah.
what you are saying.
Yes.
Because if you don't
Yeah.
have no
If
head, your
Yeah, the whole system
system
goes.
goes right.
And when we talk about anointing, we talk about the oil running from
From
Aaron's
yeah,
beard down, down, down.
yeah.
So if it is crap that is running from Aaron's beard, that crap is gonna go down, descend to the wife and the
And the
children
children and everybody.
and
There's
everybody.
no protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they're standing side by side and a stench is emanating from one,
When you-
it goes to the other. So when you put it like that, the idea that when the head is not submitted to the true source of power,
an authority.
everything else, if I am your perfect partner and you have become corrupt in some way or another, and I am working with you, maybe I don't even understand that you've been corrupted. I'm
Right.
simply supporting the things that you do and the way that women work, building the home, nurturing the children, ensuring that, things
It's
are
in
on
order.
track.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily look at the dollar that comes in and said, what this dollar coming from? Many women just apply to do the best that they can and ensure that the children and the home and all the different things are well taken care of. And then somewhere down the road, maybe even 20 years later, you will hear that your husband had been skimming money from the
the
company
20
account, and this had been happening,
It's
and
a
that had
serious.
been happening.
It's a serious thing.
And you were really a part of a very perverse system. So it is, man come and said to the lady, put this away for me, hide this for me, don't let the children, whatever, stay in the background. Or like your family have said, go down to the country with the kids. You don't know what's going on. You are there secure, thinking that you're carrying your part of the game, and you don't know that something very, very bad is going on. That's why I tell women to be nosy. You must know. You see, if you must know what he's doing, how he's doing it. Is he being righteous? Is he treating his staff well? Visit the office, look around at things. Don't feel any embarrassment by taking a keen interest in what your partner is doing. Because if you are going to be the perfect partner for him,
Yeah. And remember,
then-
you are his strength, when you go into the Hebrew.
then you need to know. Also, even when it comes to prayer, if you're praying for a man and you don't know him, do, and you're there saying, Lord, keep my husband safe as he goes out to work today. Lord, let people be good to him. May he succeed in everything that he does.
Jesus.
Enlarge his boundary and give him
Like
great
at prayer
territory.
jeepers.
Yes. All the while, what he's doing when he goes out is robbing people or so on. That is what you are praying for, that he succeed in his various endeavors. And before you know it, you are really supporting something that when you hear it, you want to pluck your eyes out. So I encourage women to be nosy and to be very, very interested in what it is their partners are doing, how they're doing it. Because if you're gonna be a good partner, it
to be
must
in
be
the
to
know.
some kind of lawful enterprise. All right, I'm getting a weird sound. I'm not sure.
Can we touching a touchy subject? so,
You
so
know,
yes.
aye, man.
Because remember, one man we're talking about something and it just the thing just went on us. Anyway,
That is true, because the airwaves and the
yes,
manipulation
of the airwaves
yes,
is a major
the
thing.
devil's playground.
Yeah,
All right.
but yeah. So it was a great day, and we really acknowledged the the fathers and so on. But I tell people, as a father, the greatest thing, the way I spell love is Time. So love is spelled Love, but it is really about Time.
Time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time that you spend with your children. Hear me keep talking about relationship is the basis for everything that you do as a parent, everything that you do with anybody. It's about the basis of it is relationship. If I don't have relationship with you, I cannot speak to you about anything, you know. So with my children, it has always been about the relationship um, that we build.
But you talk about time, and over time, the
Yes,
word quality
yes,
has been prefixed to time, because when parents spend time with children, whether it is 10 minutes or 5 minutes, it needs to be quality. What makes time spent together of value? It's not the passage of the minutes. There you can say, oh, well, I've been home. I've known adults to be in the house.
and then tick off.
And no, you don't even know they're there,
Oh wow.
except that the children are keeping quiet. Because when you are at home, you're locked away in your study. You're so important. You have so many big things to do, and all the children have to be quiet. I do recall a friend of mine, a brother actually, who was in politics and then was not. And when we spoke about it, I'd never really had a deep conversation with him what led him to follow in his father's footsteps, because his father was a famous politician before him, and then he took up the mantle and became an MP. And I was with him one afternoon and watched him fielding a few phone calls and so on. And then when he got off the phone, we had a conversation. I said, oh, I'm sure you don't miss that, because at this time now the party was in opposition. And so I said, I'm sure you don't miss that. And he proceeded to explain to me what caused him in the end to retire from representational
Pick me them.
politics. He remembered being at home and the calls are coming in, da 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 da, and his young daughter ran into the room and wanted daddy, daddy, and he had to be saying to her like, "Shh, daddy's on the phone, daddy." And after he did it kind of aggressively on one occasion, and he saw the reaction on her face, and he just checked himself and said, "But that's my job.
That's what I'm called to do first.
That is my priority."
Yeah.
When I find myself shushing my child in her home
Something wrong with that.
because constituents and government business and politics business has me so, wow, what he's doing now is is way more fun.
Not so much pressure,
Yes.
and the balance of
Way
it,
more fun,
because
but
it's a personal thing that happened to me, and I share it when I minister to younger colleagues who are pastors. I says, even as a pastor, you can be so very much involved in ministry that it becomes the major thing and the thing that you're first called to do as a pastor. And I remember I was just thinking about it, and it became such a strong sensing in my spirit. Like he says, the Lord says, the, the church is my bride. Church is my bride. And here's how you do it. You focus on your bride first, your bride that you have got, which is your wife, your children, and then the church. And it came after something happened, and I says, whatever it is, my children must never, 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 and I have 3 children that I've spoken about, must never.
I don't know what you mean, but you have 3 children that you have spoken about. You have some more that you don't talk about.
Yeah.
And you think it's advisable to say that on radio?
No. Because I have
You have 3
children.
biological
children.
children.
That's what I mean.
I know. I just explain it so that your wife don't sit up.
And they can never say
Yeah, that daddy wasn't there.
that
Or
it
that
was not there because of the church and resent the church
Yeah.
for it. Because I know of
Right.
a lot of pastors who have just lost their children.
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
It's
And
a,
they do resent the church. I was one who resented the church a bit because of all kinds of things coming out of my home. But look at it, rather than resent the church. Your children are saying, and your wife, they are saying, go somewhere by yourself for a few days. And they're not really saying enough of you. You
No,
look
they're not saying that. They said, Daddy, we wanted to go rest and don't have to think about us
absolutely.
for the time being.
Yes.
Because they're constantly inquiring, especially the first one. You all right, Daddy?
So I'm gonna therapize you a bit now.
That Jabba word she comes with.
Yes, man, may I therapize you.
Yeah, you know.
Something really funny just happened. Yeah. I have to ask you this. Do you dive in and get involved with, all arms, legs and head because you love it or because you like to be in control?
Love it, what is it?
Whatever it is you're doing.
I think it's a passion for doing stuff. That's why I do it.
Yeah, but is it to control stuff or
Two sides of the coin,
yeah.
but to most time to help people and to do what I love doing. I love, I go into a place and before you know it, you always teasing me.
Yes, because you're a busybody.
Whatever you want to call it.
But I want to know, you like the busyness or what is it that drives you? When you see a thing and you get involved, what is it that is pushing you to see the outcome, or is it that you have a vision and you want to see it, or you see persons looking like they need a leader and you step up?
It's a mixture of a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
it is.
So
It's
there's a little
average
bit of all of
the
that.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the times, even if you're leading, my thing is ultimately, if I'm leading, is to work myself out of being the leader. Because I think that is true leadership, that you're empowering the persons that you're working with, that they feel so very, what is the word? Affirm that and say, yeah, man, I can do
Yeah.
this
So
because
do
you
you do
release.
you do you find yourself looking for causes that are things that look like they need help, or you might see a situation that could be better. It's not broken or bad,
It could be better.
but it could be
Be
better.
better,
And
or
you
it is
step right in, or you look for the broken wings. You look for, that a little bird that need nursing.
all of the above.
All of the above.
All of
I
the
am right. You're a busybody. You just get involved because it's there to be done, and it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, that's how I am
Yeah.
in terms of just trying to help. Remember, I told you, if you wake me up in the morning and you said to me, what is your passion? It's my simple thing, facilitating individuals to greatness. Because I believe inherent in every person, because they are created in the image of likeness of God, that there's something there that they need to understand it and move in an individual way in terms of what their purpose and destiny is.
So you're a fig man,
What is a fig man?
facilitating individuals. Forget the two.
I'm a fig man, yeah, to greatness.
Greatness.
Yeah, I'm a fig,
Greatness.
yeah.
Well, hey, listen. Yes, I did participate in the conspiracy to get you some R&R time.
Conspiracy. That's why my wife kept asking, what is minute? I say a minute number, you can call her.
But your wife is not a good co-conspirator. she was.
No, but I
She
know.
was leaving breadcrumbs on the trail.
I don't even know she was
So you-
leaving breadcrumbs
so you
on the
could-
trail. Because you guys have a relationship.
Yeah,
She wanted
yeah.
to
Yeah.
link up with you because you have indicated that, hey, we need
Let
to
me
link
tell
up
you,
again.
man. Even at the risk of the producer wanting his own time off, I said, but this could cause a sedition in the camp. Next thing you know, all the men are taking time off.
As we talk
I'll
about
have
that,
I'll
I
have
just
to
want to
figure
big
out.
up the producer as Father's Day. We're sharing some memes yesterday in terms of some things that were running around the net. Yes, I mean, we're sharing, about fathers. He is a big father here, people.
Oh Lord, man, and the children did us proud. I mean, even in the late in the night, gifts were still arriving.
Wow!
And I mean,
We can't beg you one, boss. Oh my Lord, yes, sir.
So, no,
Oh my
it
Lord,
was-
I.
And,
Yes, if I
you
shoot
know,
that for me.
yes, he was well taken care of. And what was unusual for me, because everybody's grown up now, except for Daniel, but even Daniel told me, what he wanted done. I almost fell into a Pastor Percival trap of wanting to manage things. And then at one point I said, but hold on. They're adults.
They're for them
I
too.
don't need to be saying, well, remember to show daddy some love. Oh, no. It was big daughter stepped in. She made her arrangements. She did the reservations. She got us all organized, and we had a
Which one
wonderful
is Big
evening.
Daughter? That's the
Shantae.
That's it.
Yeah, digital content queen.
That's right.
Yes. And we had a lovely afternoon. So I think I have no doubt that Daddy was satisfied. One of the things I have on my list this morning is for you and me to talk about famous fathers who have been made proud by their children, and also children who made their unknown fathers proud.
Oh.
Looking at it from the two sides,
Oh, that's
because the push can be in either direction. So we're going to talk about that after the break. I have a big one on my list, and I'd love to hear what you think about it. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. What time is it now? 7:30? 7 o'clock.
Pushing
Okay.
it along.
Prophetically, we shall see. 7:30. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock, and we're taking our break.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
The Mothers Union will be making a special contribution to Sister Cherry. She's really struggling to take care of her bills,
Yes, I get that things are not too good with her, and the sad thing is that she gave her all when she worked at the parish council.
So true. And that is why I believe that this new compensation system that the government is implementing is a good thing, especially when you retire.
I agree. Some people don't seem to understand that it's really when you retire you really need support, and the new system will make them better off when they retire. A larger basic pay means higher pension, which leads to greater ability to look after yourself financially when you retire.
The government should have done this 10 years ago so that we could benefit.
The new public sector compensation system. Better pay, better pension. Visit mof.gov.jm to learn more.
What does a student in Augustown, St. Andrew have in common with a small business owner in St. Catherine? How about a farmer in Treadlight, Clarendon, and a firefighter in St. James? Each has a unique story about how the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, has transformed their life for the better. For over 2 decades, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund has changed the lives of Jamaicans through its projects and programs. They've supported tourism and agriculture, expanded school spaces, and made safe paths for children to walk to school. JSIF has also improved community infrastructure, boosted small businesses, bolstered Jamaica's response to natural disasters, and so much more. With the help of their partners, JSIF continues its mission of investing for community development.
I'm advice I don't know all the shot and tally. I have a message to everyone. Get vaccinated. Hey, tourism the main driver of the local economy. It provides us with jobs, save the country. So everybody in the industry, get the job and come follow me. It don't hurt to the nerd. Link the nurse cause the vaccine work. Get vaccinated. Yeah. This is a message from the Ministry of Tourism. Get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. You're deaf?
AGD Pensioners, our mobile unit is coming to you. Meet us in your parish from Monday, June 6 to Friday, June 17. Collect and submit your life certificates. Get them certified on the spot with a valid ID, or just come for customer service support. See you in St. Thomas on June 6. On June 7, we'll be in Portland and St. Anne on June 8. In St. Mary, June 9. In Trelawney, June 10. St. Catherine Pensioners, the AGD will see you on June 11. On June 13, we go to St. Elizabeth. Hanover on June 14, and to Westmoreland on June 15, Manchester on June 16, and to Clarendon on June 17. For more information, visit our website at treasury.gov.jm.
Yeah, body line up slap, Hey, Wallace.
You know the price did adjust since your last visit though.
How much now? Never really walk with no extra cash,
You can't pay me with Jamdex, man.
I saw ya move, my boss. Me have my digital wallet too, so make me transfer it to you right now.
A phased rollout of Jamdex, Jamaica's central bank digital currency, is on the way. Sign up for your digital wallet and get more convenience, safety, and security with your money. A message from the JIS.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Any pension order voucher with a payable date in June 2022 may be encashed as of Thursday, June 2. Collect your June payments at your convenience. Simply visit your designated post office. Remember, your pension vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Rio Grande to the South Coast. Hotel workers and man wear off boat. This a for the craft vendors, red cap porters and transportation at airport. Jamaica tourism pension plan, building towards the future. For tourism workers across the island, retirement benefits to contributions. Every worker in the industry, permanent self-employed contract. For your service you deserve security. Yes you do. Tourism workers pension plan, build a bright future. Yes you can. Tourism workers pension plan, workers invest through contributions. All tourism workers, age 18 to 59. Tourism workers pension plan.
Start making your contributions for a brighter future.
For further information, visit mot.gov.jm or call 876-920-4926-30.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
There will be days when you're too tired to move, to drive, but you think you have to because your vehicle won't wash itself, right? But no, you don't have to visit a car wash. 123 Mobile Car Wash will come straight to you. Yes, you heard right. 123 Mobile Car Wash is offering services in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. We shampoo and detail cars, trucks, offices, and more. No job too small. Call us at 876-631-3400. 123 Mobile Car Wash. We come to you.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi style?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
You hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
That's a paid software. I don't think this one's paid. It's a free
Welcome.
Winters
back.
Auto Spirit, Saved by the Bell. It's a good auto transmission company. I've worked with them in the past. And they rescued my vehicle. Anyway.
All right. So we want to switch and talk a little bit about how parents and children can pass the greatness between the generations and how sometimes even an unknown parent can rise to attention because of the exploits of the children. Well, of course, the all-time father of the year and the relationship between King David and his son Solomon is the template that is underpinning the conversation. But can't go too far without acknowledging the front page story this morning about a father who raised his 4 girls after the mother died. Yes. This gentleman is being celebrated on the front page of the Gleaner. Let's see, James Jones, famous name, and 4 beautiful James girls. Look at them. Look at them. One of them looked like
Beauty Queen.
Yeah, when I saw this picture for a moment there, I thought it was, what's that girl's name? Halle Berry.
Okay.
She has a Halle Berry look. Anyway, Jamaican man, a Rastafarian of the Rastafarian faith, and native of the cool hills of Clarendon. His wife of 10 years died, leaving him with 4 young girls, all under the age of 10. Sophia, Stacey Ann, Kadeen, and Genevieve.
Was
You know,
inter-
all on the age of 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what was interesting, he says, as a single dad, that somebody was helping him and the person died also. So now him have to take it
Bad
up
luck,
full thing. So he was
Yeah.
into farming, teaching,
Teaching.
and calculating resource bets and weekend, meaning him work in the shop. So he make the people work out the bet them. That's a long time. I know it is
Nobody
done by
does that
machine.
anymore. That's one of
Yes.
one of the jobs. But he raised 4 beautiful girls, and they're paying tribute to him on the front page of the Gleaner. Brought up in a Christian household, which he credits for the strong values that he has held, steering his family. And from the look of it, never remarried.
Mhm.
He was a teacher, so taught at Iris Jelly
Iris
Primary
Kelly.
School.
Iris Kelly.
You
It's
mean
Iris Kelly
oh,
Primary
that G don't belong there?
No, it's Iris Kelly.
Iris Kelly Primary School.
Which I've seen a transformation in recent
Okay,
years.
Arnett Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah. For nearly 3 decades, he coached football and cricket teams, helping to. So he was father to many.
Yeah, man.
In
He was
terms
a
of
mentor. Mhm.
mentoring young men in the community, and so on and so forth. Now, I mean, it seems like the greatest contribution from this man is the parenting that he did.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Seemingly 4 awesome
Master
women.
chef. I know what to cook. It's the
Rustling
best.
up the best tasting sweet potato pudding and roast beef at Christmas time. Trust me, in all my life, it's the best I've ever tasted. This is from one of his girls.
And she said for the other 11 months, he never know if to cook.
He conveniently
Didn't
didn't know how to cook for the rest of the year, but Christmas was his. I love the story and I make mention of it because of its ordinariness.
Yes.
Because this is the life of all of us, most of us, 99.9% of us. This is who we are. And it is out of this kind of background and experience that great nations are formed. Well, these girls, I think somebody in Canada, I don't know how many of them are in Jamaica,
We're
but
in Canada.
they are making their contribution in different parts of the world, and they're looking back at this stage now and pointing a finger at the great man. He looks so familiar with all that.
Yes, his face looks so
that is
familiar.
like your-
But one of the things that it says, one of the things he told him was about his faith in God. That's what he said. His faith in God and the love of his girls that kept him afloat when he felt as though he could not live without his wife. Boy.
And he never remarried. So there, you see?
Yes.
One helpmeet.
One
All
help-
right.
one help.
So another famous daughter, well, may I call her famous daughter at this point? There's no denying that the lady has attained notoriety. Kamina Johnson Smith.
Yes.
On the front page again.
In yesterday's
Because
paper.
yes, because the other man in the race. Oh, and this it's a front page story, but it starts in a rather ominous tone with no public pledge of support ahead of the expected Commonwealth Secretary General election this week in Kigali. Tuvalu's candidate, Sir Iakoba Italeli, is banking on last-minute wooing to corral heads of government in the Rwandan capital. Italeli is one of 2 people who have been campaigning for the position to lead the Commonwealth Secretariat, the intergovernmental organization tasked with supporting the 54 member countries of the Commonwealth of Nations.
important thing.
The Queen's traumatized group of people who are hanging together. Some of them.
You saw the thing I sent you on the weekend, the video.
About racism for sale.
Yeah.
Yes, it terrorized me for a good part of the day.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It was
Yeah.
not. It was
I know
not
it wasn't intended to, but
but
it raised some issues that I do want us to discuss here because the Chinese are very present in Jamaica as they are in other parts of
the world.
and
what they're
how
doing.
they
They track that down. I
because
love that
was
journalist.
very well done, but we're gonna have to tell the people about it properly. All right, so also making the news about Miss Johnson Smith, and Miss Johnson Smith's father was a famous politician in Jamaica,
yes.
highly regarded, and his daughter seemed to have just tracked his footsteps somewhat and is making her own waves. So the truth is that is a famous father and a famous progeny in the making. Let's see how it plays out, because her father's position in politics was very much the foundation for her walk into the
yes.
position as senator and then to take a position as minister.
Her
So
father was who again? What Johnson?
Anthony Johnson,
who was ambassador too.
to London
Yeah.
yes. So you can see how the father's fame can be a platform for the progeny. The question now is whether the child will do well and advance the profile into the next generation. But I don't recall that Kamina has a child. I don't recall
know.
that being so. And being not having the ability to give her name.
Yeah, but yeah,
it could end here.
Yeah,
if-
but interestingly, I just
Yes.
want you to remember
Mhm.
that on the same program you said, what's going to happen like what happened in the previous race.
Oh, yes.
Somebody's going to come out of nowhere
Last minute.
and some dirt is going to be dragged up because here it is saying that international marketing firm.
Oh, yes, you
Sim
found it.
Partners representing Johnson Smith. And they say the contract, a 3-month contract for
99,000 US dollars. What is that in Jamaican money? How much money the taxpayer paying to create a public relations?
That's about 15 million, approximately.
Yes,
around
because
50.
that's close to 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Pastor Percy. And that's not the half of it. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, because here's what. Refusing to confirm or deny the reports, a top government official would only say, I heard the report.
Yes.
Top government official?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just
Unfortunate.
right. And it get a little, what is this now? Page 810 mentioned in the Sunday Gleaner. But this marketing firm is the same firm that worked for the Jamaica Tourist Board. And so it is, and they're the ones who, see, international media reports have revealed that world-renowned marketing firm Fin Partners is providing PR, media relations, and thought leadership services to Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Kamina Johnson-Smith, who is looking to unseat Baroness Patricia Scotland of Dominica for the post of Secretary General of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting is slated for Kigali, Rwanda this week from June 20th
That's
to 25th, so she's there already, where the 54-member body will vote for who will get the post. A news report published on Friday by the New York-based communications firm O'Dwyer's said Fin Partners has a 3-month, 99,000 US dollars contract with Johnson Smith that expires June 30th. Fin Partners, whose website lists it as a world-renowned company with offices in more than 10 countries with clients around the world, is a former marketing public relations company for Jamaica's tourism industry. Do you remember how the Trafigura thing went? Because the Trafigura company was known to lift petroleum products, market petroleum products for the Ministry of Science and Technology. And when they showed up with how much was it? $30 million, the equivalent Jamaican contribution to the PNP, it was regarded as some kind of bribe and improper payment.
In the Dutch system.
Absolutely. Well, they said Trafigura.
What's the benefit of that?
Trafigura confessed that it was a contribution and that it was really a bribe. The PNP said it was a contribution to a campaign contribution, whatever you want to call it. For Johnson Smith to show up in the media with a 99,000 US dollar contract from a firm that provided services to Jamaica's tourism industry, she really should have chosen a different firm, because you cannot deny the implications of it. You cannot deny it being regarded as something that the firm is doing in order to get back a contract with government, or some kind of kickback or some kind, and it is in her personal name, is what it says. It's not even with the government of Jamaica, since they came out and said that it is the government of Jamaica that is paying her campaign expenses. You would expect that if the government of Jamaica was standing transparently in the position of supporting her bid for this seat because they say and can argue and show that there is some benefit to be derived by the country, albeit I cannot imagine any government taking that position that they are expecting to get some preferential treatment because the holder of the position is from your country. That to me flies in the face of every notion of transparency and natural justice. She's supposed to go there and act in the best interest of the Commonwealth. What is it called again? The Commonwealth Secretariat. When she takes that job, her first responsibility, her first loyalty is to all the members. And if there's any country saying, well, I am supporting you so you can give me preferential treatment, that would fly in the face of every acceptable notion of integrity, of transparency, even of democracy. So now, when Finn Partners is exposed as the PR firm behind her campaign, and this same firm, Finn Partners, was representing Jamaica's tourism industry, it's no different from Traffic Bureau, to my mind. No different. It's at the same level. There's a conflict.
Conflict of interest.
There is a conflict. And they say that the contract is with her.
Yeah.
With Johnson Smith.
So,
well, I did say, you're right. You're reminding me, but I think something else is there too as well.
Because you said up front, you're going same like what happened with Scotland. Something came.
Absolutely.
But what another thing that is emerging, I believe that at the end of this, this guy,
yes,
is going to be the compromise candidate.
Yacoba Italeli.
Yeah.
Yes. If there is a change.
Yeah.
If there is a change.
It's going to be the compromise
candidate.
candidate.
I'll tell you off air, I had a vision of something. And I don't even know why it came up. It's like out of nowhere because I'm not spending time thinking about their political shenanigans. I have other things to think about.
Your mind.
But I just had an insight of something being presented to her while at the conference. And a change of position being taken. She had said she will not withdraw. But I have a feeling that right there in the heat of in the dragons, then something is going to come up which is going to change. Oh, it's exciting. Let's see what happens.
But another thing, I sent another video to which guy is out of the Patreon news site. And they go there and get really news. And they were saying, in terms of imperialism and what has happened in terms of England or what they did in Africa in terms of places like Kenya when 1 million persons were put into concentration camps and a lot of them died and so on, and they've tried to scrub it from the history of Kenya. Remember the Mama rebellion and so on, and so the same thing is happening now. And even with what has happened in terms of Johnson saying, we don't want this person, Scotland. You know why they don't want Scotland? Because Scotland has raised the important issue of reparations. So we need to talk about it because it's a very major part of the history of the Commonwealth, especially for England in terms of those 54 countries that were present under their rule. And he pointed to what happened with the Chinese, with the Russians and everybody and said, these people around the world, whichever side they come from, just has this whole thing of exploiting people, pulling the resources out of the country, enriching themselves. And in the end, the countries that they have operated in are the poorer for it. And let's not forget that now their compound maroons are suing the government.
Oh, no, don't go into it like that. No, that requires finesse. Oh, Pastor Percival, you do need that holiday. That is way too rough. Listen, man, there's a way that we're going to go into it because what is happening is not to be viewed in isolation.
With all of what is happening around the world.
And what's happening here. What's happening here. And I dare say it's not to be separated from some of the prayers and the declarations
That
and
we've
the
made.
push that's taking place locally, because we have seen all of Jamaica has experienced this deadening of the spirit towards human rights.
Mm-hmm.
We are uncaring of the rights of others. At the highest levels of this government, of our leadership, we are selfish. We are displaying great selfishness, greed, and just self-aggrandizement, only wanting for ourselves and those connected to us. And we are just kind of marching along as if everything begins and ends with us. The decision makers they're flagrant with their disregard for even the merest hint at propriety. When you have parties, they're elaborate
Yes,
and
man.
lavish, and it does not matter that while you are eating cake, there are some who can't even get bread.
Bread, or even bulla,
So
or whatever.
yeah, there was a spirit that had just taken over.
Yes.
It would just outrageously brash. And now we are beginning to experience the tempering, the pulling back, the realignment. And it is happening in some places that are unexpected.
Okay.
The Maroon Point is one of it. But the truth is, like, we saw that coming, because that only had one place to go. And so we want to put it in the right context. So yeah, I see that Conrad has raised it. It has not it hasn't escaped our attention, because even this information coming out about the boldness of the Johnson Smith campaign move, that they think you could enter into $100,000. Really? When you say $99,000, you just don't want to say 100,000. That you could enter into a 100,000 US dollar contract just to make somebody look good for a position that is crap to us. And I'm saying it. That position don't mean anything to the Jamaican where walk up and down and try hold things together, and the ones where block the road out in Spanish Town so man no pass by
and drive by
them, drive by and shoot them. But of course, I want to start. Let's look at what happened in the Roshane Clark ruling from our constitutional court. Now, remember that one of my position, I'm going to include you in it, is that Jamaica should have a constitutional court that sits all season.
All the time.
We need 3 judges for our constitution. It's 3 to 5 judges for our constitutional court. And it means that when you have to pluck them out of the general body of judges to sit and hear a matter, it is inconvenient, and it causes dislocation elsewhere. We should not have to pluck judges out. We should have a constitutional court that is constantly resourced, so citizens can have their matters given the level of priority that it requires. There is a constitutional matter that is starting this morning, God willing, 20th of June, 2022. It is a matter in which I certainly have a great deal of interest, and so should you, every Jamaican. It is the case brought forward by our business partner, Mr. Neil, who for years was stigmatized and demonized by leaders of this country, blocked eventually from participating in a telecommunications business which he co-parented. That is the level of his involvement. 2 families came together, the Lawrence family and the Neil family, merged 2 companies to create something in plain sight. We did it, making every disclosure that was needed to the government. And when the licenses were granted and it was too much for others to bear, the government began to backpedal. And in the backpedaling, they pulled out of the hat a report that so demonized this individual that when we even got a notice saying that this man constituted a threat to the security of Jamaica as well as the security of a foreign country, we were just devastated. And then, Jamaicans, let me say it as dramatically as I can, and then when we force the government to pull aside the curtain and show us what is this you have that have caused you to take such a position against a citizen of this country. They had nothing. They had nothing. Rumors of rumors, suspicions. I'm leaving that right there on the table because I'm going to see what the court does with it. But I'll say it right now. It does not matter what the court does with it, because there is truth and there is a rightness of things which exist whether or not man acknowledges it to be so. Right, Pastor Percy?
Truth always come out, sister.
And it is what it is, whether you want to ignore it or believe it.
Because as we say in this program,
yes,
according to Psalms 89 and verse 14, its throne
is built
upon righteousness and justice, and truth and mercy follow back.
Follow back him. All right, I got the signal to break. Happy Father's Day to you, Mr. Engineer. Didn't know that you're 8 months a father, but it only gets better with time.
Yes, sir.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the human rights issue that's facing us, and even how some of these famous parents and their children feature in it, because how we do things, working as a society, as family, is going to make the difference between whether we rise or fall.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep
For a
listening.
better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Hey! Best 100 FM and the SOS Children's Village of Stony Hill presents an auction and telethon on June 23rd, 2022. You don't want to miss the sweet deals on designer vintage items, appliances, art pieces, and more. Go to our Instagram page at SOSVillage_auction and bid on your favorite items. That's SOSVillage_auction. Place as many bids as you can until June 23rd, the day of the event. Call us on the day to make pledges and other donations. Entertainment by the Morning Connection team. All proceeds will go to the SOS Children's Village of Stony Hill.
There will be days when you're too tired to move, to drive, but you think you have to because your vehicle won't wash itself, right? But no, you don't have to visit a car wash. 123 Mobile Car Wash will come straight to you. Yes, you heard right. 123 Mobile Car Wash is offering services in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. We shampoo and detail cars, trucks, offices, and more. No job too small. Call us at 876-631-3400. 123 Mobile Car Wash. We come to you.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best
Welcome back to The Morning Connection and Be Alive Today. A special welcome. That is an interesting name. Good morning to Earl Brown and to Conrad. Conrad joined us late, but we saved the maroon discussion for you for now. So I'm coming at it from the human rights angle in terms of the guaranteed rights which citizens of this country enjoy. And I never lose the opportunity to emphasize that these guaranteed rights were not created by the Constitution. These are your inalienable rights, the Americans call it. These are your inalienable rights. They're in your skin. You're born with them, which each person who is a part of creation enjoys. But for good order and to ensure that we don't destroy each other in the pursuit of these rights, we put a structure and a framework around it so that persons can coexist peaceably. Because before, if you were working a piece of land and a stronger man come and chase you off it, you would just move to another piece.
That's what it was.
And so man was wandering around. But then as we started to establish roots and make cities and so on, it became necessary for us to figure out how to coexist and how to defend what is ours and how to be righteous in our dealings with one another. It's just a part of the evolution of society. So with Jamaica now, and not just, I'm going to start with Jamaica because many persons who stepped into positions of power and authority with, you know, the famous father who laid a foundation for the famous children, and you just walk into it as your birthright. We, the inheritors of power, who feel that because our parents had it and we step in, then therefore it shall continue, you know, down the line like a divine right. The divine right of kings is no more. And in truth, it never existed in Jamaica because the king that administered or had an interest in Jamaica, we've never had royalty living here. So it's always been a kind of absentee ownership situation, and that creates its own set of dysfunctions. You know, like the father who have two houses. One is the proper house where the wife is, the queen is, and the other is a home that the visiting relationship. So a lot of Jamaica's values and way of doing things, culture, has the foundation of the visiting relationship.
You say it tongue in cheek, but
no,
it's a
not
serious
tongue in
thing.
cheek. It's very serious.
It's a very serious thing
Yeah.
in terms of what we see in terms of a lot of families and the values and how things are done. Yeah, it's serious.
And it's why we are kind of schizophrenic in how we do things. There's the formal economy and the informal economy, and the informal economy is the one of choice.
Yeah, the bigger one.
It's the right. So there are many things that we do upside down. But we, in our efforts to bring order and stability and dignity to what we're doing, we've got to learn to use the right mechanisms to fight for the things that are ours. That's why I don't stay back. I am not using any informal backdoor channel to do anything. If I cannot enter a situation through the front door, then that situation needs to change. So here we are. We've pushed for our business partner to bring to light the atrocity that has been committed against him. And it's before the courts, and whether they treat with it rightly or not is irrelevant. The important thing is that we are doing it.
It's highlighted.
Yes, it's highlighted. So too, across the region, other tribes of people have had to push for the same thing. The Maroons in Jamaica need to do it, and I'm pleased to see that there has been a move in that direction. It has been reported that they filed an action in May, and they succeeded in filing the papers in June. Just, I think, the 15th of June is what's been reported. And it really now is time for me to talk to Chief Curry. But they filed it in the Jamaican courts. And I think really it will also eventually get to the international courts, because if the Jamaican courts don't treat with it rightly, then it will go elsewhere, because they have rights on a global stage. And I'm so pleased for that. We're not just left here to, shadow box in the dark. The world is looking on as well, and for what that has some value at various times. But I want to put a context to it for Jamaicans in terms of what has happened elsewhere. This case came to my attention when I was preparing our case that is coming up in the Jamaican courts. 123 indigenous communities in Argentina brought a matter before the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, and a decision was given in April of this year. Am I right that it's April of this year? It might have been. Let me just try and pick up a date. No, it was in April of 2020, because this case also came up in our constitutional court here, looked at it when they were considering one of our prisoners, Mr. Linton Berry, famous Jamaican policeman and now an inmate, whose best work is being done behind bars, because whether for himself or for others, he has been encouraging and making sure that certain issues are brought to light in terms of what is happening in the prisons, because prisoners have rights, and their rights have been the subject of a lot more litigation than some of us who are out here. The court for Mr. Berry had to look at whether or not the correctional officer's failure to give him a diet that is appropriate to his diabetic condition and to ensure that he gets timely medical treatment, whether that failure constituted a breach of his constitutional rights. Well, they came down against him. They found that the failures on the part of the correctional officers were no greater than what you would expect to see in a prison. In other words, there's some inconvenience and hardship that is naturally attendant to being an inmate. And so,
must make sure you don't go to prison.
then that's absolutely, that is true. But in considering that case, the court, the Jamaican Constitutional Court, looked at how an interference with your food supply and your water supply could in effect be a breach of your constitutional rights, because all citizens who occupy land have a right to a clean environment free from degradation. Can you imagine that? And when I read that case, I said the Maroons need to do something.
Because when you think about it,
When
and
you
you've been
interfere with the
fundamental
cockpit
rights,
country.
fundamental rights and
Yes.
privilege.
And not just and I'll tell you, Jamaicans, if you are watching the thing, you would know that it's not just the Maroons who are affected by a degradation of the cockpit country. The whole Jamaica that rely on what is happening there. So let me tell you what happened in Argentina now. So you had 123 small tribes that lived off the land in an area of the country. It was their ancestral land in the northern Salta province, and it was covered by a single deed, which was community property, very much like what happens with the Maroons, where all of the land is owned collectively by the community. The Argentine government did not monitor, manage, or even restrain the loggers, the ranchers, all those who had begun to set up and to do business in that area, because we very much have the attitude that if land is there and nobody's building house and cities and exploiting it to the maximum,
They're
that
big
it
on
don't have no
anybody.
ownership. Yes, that is the attitude of man. If you see something over there and it's looking too too pristine, you begin to devise ways in which you can jump into it and do various things with it. So in the judgment, if you're interested in things and you look at it, they pinpoint a series of rights violated by the Argentine government, the failure to implement the necessary mechanisms to guarantee the right to collective ancestral land property, not having presented a deed to the property for the association, this is the Association of Tribes, and the absence of the previous consultation with the communities on modifying their territory. So this is something that we are currently doing in Jamaica. We are not allowing persons who have a long history of association with specific areas of land to have proper ownership of it, deeded ownership, recorded ownership. And the other thing that we fail to do is proper consultation with the communities before we intervene and modify the boundaries or their ownership of the land. After more than 20 years of litigation, the Inter-American Court granted a historic victory to the
20
indigenous.
years?
20 years of litigation. We saw here where our Prime Minister spoke defiantly against the Maroon community, questioning their sovereignty. And many persons may have thought, whatever you may have thought of it, just understand that groups of persons, tribes, families who establish long-standing relationship with land acquire rights, have rights, and those rights are not to be trifled with. They also looked at the way this interference impacted the traditional food supply of the hunter-gatherer peoples and on their access to clean water. This is the first case from the Inter-American Court which sets a precedent on the right to water, food, a healthy environment, and cultural identity. Argentina is required to take action diligently on these issues in the context where many indigenous people, especially children, have died of hunger and dehydration since the beginning of the year on this land. It would be interesting to see what the current situation is. Let's see. The ruling gave them a period of a maximum of 6 years to address the ownership of the territory. They must limit and mark the land, and then they must concede a single deed to the undivided territory for the indigenous communities. Now, it's very much akin to what needs to happen with the Maroons. It should not be that a year from now, 50 years from now, 1,000 years from now, someone stands up, as Prime Minister Holness did, and challenge the Maroons in their ownership of the land. It should not be.
What you're saying is
fix it for all time.
Once and for all.
Once and for all. So that you don't have persons getting up and saying, well, like I see people writing, let us see when Jamaica becomes a republic what it means for the Maroon. It means nothing for the Maroons. Their situation remains unchanged. Their ownership absolute. And unless you plan to take it by force, which you can always do. A stronger man can always come into your place with guns, tear out your stuff, and move off and declare themselves to be the winners. But in the eyes of God, that would not be victory.
Mm-hmm.
So that can always happen. And that does not change the reality and the truth of the situation. That truth continues to exist even when people dead and gone. It will be known that you took it by force. You stole it, and then you tried to write a narrative in history that gives you some legitimacy. I'm going back. I know you can move with me because we will hear and listen. If it is not covered by any other media house, it will be covered by this program. We will see that Mr. Neil has been called a threat to national security. He has been called a person who is not fit and proper to do business in telecommunications. He's been denigrated as a person with adverse traces. And when the police report that is the foundation of these things came to light, the only thing it had was unnamed sources. It didn't say that, I'm having to say it because it says that sources indicate that this man is rumored to be connected with persons who were in the ganja trade. You tell me somebody in Jamaica, except probably for Pastor Percy and Minette, who have not been rumored to be in the ganja trade. Just name somebody who has anything more than a motor car.
Who come into contact with is rumored to have
who's
been.
rumored to have been.
And that's why you can't go into court
Some
of
people
law.
dead and gone who create huge empires out of other businesses were rumored to be, and not a single thing impeded them in their march to success. But this man was rumored to be connected. That is the report. And there's no witness who said it. There's no convicted drugs man who is on record for saying it. There's nothing, no evidence, nothing. And we see that it's a pattern with our government because now that the Roshane Clark judgment has been published and it is acknowledged that the police kept picking him up in their state of emergency with no evidence of any wrongdoing on his part. His $17 million judgment speaks to the government's inability to show even the slightest shred of reason for keeping a man incarcerated for over a 7 to 8 month period, picking him up repeatedly because of who he is, perhaps where him come from, or whatever they perceive about him. They were never able to bring a shred of evidence to say that this guy who you kept locking up. Now, he lost roughly 7 years of his freedom. You know how long they had this thing against Mr. Neil? Over 20 years.
20 years?
20 years, they say, from in the 1980s. when he was a kid
In
in his 20s.
Okay.
They're saying that from he is reputed to have been associated with persons in the trade from the 1980s.
So that's what the thing actually said?
That's what it says.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious here. So
you know, I after the thing I just tell you something.
Yeah, that's what it says.
But that's amazing.
But you know,
Because
Percy,
even I was been following in the paper what's been happening with this Klansman thing. Remember what Sykes says last week?
yes. Go ahead. Let me see if you're gonna.
Sykes says, but hold on. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence?
He said that they mistake intelligence gathering for evidence. When you're out there on the street and you say, who that you there? I say, boy, you know, he move with this and he move with that. He say, yeah. And you go somewhere else and you see the same youth pop up, or you see something else and you say, and you start to watch him. Now you need to move together evidence.
Yeah. That's what
Now you need to find something concrete. They are in court talking about murders committed, of which there's no information on the body, on the crime scene. There's no photograph. And we're past the stage in our administration of things
justice.
where you just go on word of mouth. Policeman said there was a dead body there. Yeah? Who saw it? I saw it. And because of who he is, you say, well, there's nobody saying my brother died, my husband is missing, my child didn't come back, and nothing, no corroborating evidence of an empirical forensic type to support it. It's the same thing with Mr. Neil. Now I'm saying if a young man can get $17 million because he was kept out of his liberty, he was deprived of his liberty for 7 months. A man who has been stigmatized and punished, and the net extended beyond him. Lowell and I have lived for the last several years being called that we're fronting.
Oh, you're a fronter.
We're fronting for a drugs man.
Yeah, clean up the man money. That's what them alleging.
Even in some of the things that have happened with me, I've had to ask myself, where are all these things coming from?
Call this organized crime.
And as the producer is reminding me, Mr. Bunting stood in Parliament and said a license has been granted to organized crime. And the crime behind it is a suspicion that someone was connected to somebody else. They don't say who. There's no details of it. There are no statements. So how we treat with the rights of others, from the small to the big, is very, very important. And the day for the Jamaican courts to really show what they're made of, the time is now. The Chief Justice stood, and with regards to the Bail Act, the issues surrounding the Bail Act, I was very pleased that he drew attention to the fact that this power that Ms. Malahoo Fort is asking for the courts to, not the courts, Parliament.
Yes.
Parliament is to create statute that denies the judicial discretion currently exists in existence. The Chief Justice got up and said, right now today, all the things you're talking about are provided for in existing legislation, and some of it never used. I did not realize that the prosecution has the right to appeal if bail is granted to an unworthy person in their view. They can appeal the grant of bail, but he says it's a provision that they have never used. Truth to Power is on form this morning. He says we should call out the police commissioner. But this is a serious thing, it keeps coming up.
Yeah,
the police commissioner, they talk about the state of emergency, and all you're hearing about is the one other gang. Although that's the name you hear. I have seen reports where they say 30 gangs. They say a number of gangs are disputing territory in the area, but they don't call the various names. Everyone, however, seems to know that there's Klansman and there is one order, but we're only hearing about Klansman, and those members are the ones being detained, and it very much has the look of political intervention to clear the field for one party, especially as you're moving towards some kind of, whether it's local government elections. It would be local government elections.
No, man, it's going to force us. We're going to have a general soon.
But persons are wise to it. They are noticing that you're only hearing and seeing one type of people being detained, and they know it is not accidental. They know that it is deliberate. Mr. Commissioner, please don't think we are stupid. And those who are,
advising him and so
I
on.
think it's Mr.
Espute,
Espute
yeah.
wrote about the
Violence.
PNP and the JLP yesterday. He said, I think it says, why I can't be with PNP or JLP. And he pointed to this very thing, that each party have them strong arm and it's declared to be so.
And they know it to be so.
And yet you see the thing unfolding and neither side is rushing to use their influence to bring order, because you can see they don't want to miss out on a political gain by taking a side against their own. Pastor, we speak against it.
Yeah, and it is true. It is clear for everybody to see. Because I remember somebody saying to me, and this was a political act. You know what him said to me?
Mm-hmm.
Him said, no MP worth his salt don't know who the people are in his community. Meaning, who the pastors are, who the dons are, him know who are the people of influence.
Of course.
And so if
but you're seeing it with the church too.
Mm-hmm.
See, the churchman has come out and said we use the word negotiate, which you and I
not negotiate,
don't favor, and it can't be a negotiation.
They're not negotiating.
But if the church also knows who are the chief wrongdoers or persons of influence, then let's call it that.
Yeah.
And if the church is prepared to go in and speak, so should the politician.
Yeah.
So should the politician.
Because they've used it, That's how garrisons were created, Don't forget that.
Yeah. Yep. Truth to power, I like what you have said here. Truth to power is pointing to an irony. He says, whenever it suits the DPP to suppress a case, they speak about lack of evidence. But now they want the Chief Justice to convict people without substantial evidence. Yes. What name you want to call, Conrad? Please do say it right here. Now, you can put it on the chat. I may not be able to repeat it unless I have reason to believe that it is either truth or a fair comment on a public situation. So there it is. I am giving you the legal framework for calling names and repeating sensational information. If it is not truth and known to be truth by the speaker, or a fair comment on a matter of public interest, then you say it at your own risk, and you run the risk of being sued for libel, or your radio station being penalized for publishing libel. What's Conrad saying here? Lock up the youth for nothing. That is true. Many young people across this land have been locked up for nothing, and because we don't place a high value on their freedom or on their time, it just goes. But I liked what was being said. Is it in today's paper? May have been yesterday's paper, that the first detainee who went to the Constitutional Court under the state of emergency detention orders made a statement that he did it because he wanted to set a precedent. And I just loved it to hear a regular guy saying, I want to set a precedent to encourage others to fight for their rights. You have to fight for your right. If you don't think it is worth anything, no one else will believe it has value. That is why, it is my wish, and I know that it shall come to pass. It is my wish to be a part of an organization that will prepare the cases for constitutional redress and challenge. We should be churning them out, leave nothing to chance, push the judges to see that Jamaicans care about their reputation, their freedom, and their rights to do certain things. And so here we're seeing something shift as well.
DPP rules cop to be charged for infant death in car.
Yeah. The Jamaica Constabulary Force should charge the St. Elizabeth Police Sergeant whose 12-month-old daughter died after being locked in his car. The Director of Public Prosecutions has recommended. She handed down the ruling last week, and the file has been submitted to the Commissioner of Police. Sergeant Sheldon Dobson, who is attached to the Black River Police Station, reportedly forgot his daughter in the car. And there's a picture of this beautiful child. And I know that it must continue to be a source of heartbreak for both parents, especially Father's Day yesterday. But it has taken, when did this happen again? January. In January, it has taken about 6 months for that ruling. And, you know, whether he is ultimately convicted or not, the ruling shouldn't take 6 months because you have things happening with the DPP almost overnight in cases where they are highly motivated to be efficient.
Like what happened with my friend, the minister responsible for...
Oh, Mr. Green?
Yes.
Yeah. But, you know, these are things that we have to continue to press for. Not just pray for it, but we have to press for it through our advocacy.
Shameless audacity.
Yeah, we have, absolutely. All right, it's time for the break. And are you going to leave us now, Mr. Producer? I bless you. You're staying, don't leave until after the break. Oh, no, this is a long break, so he has to go. All right, so the producer is one of the witnesses in the case, and he's going off to court. And I just want to pronounce a blessing on him before he departs, that truth and justice will indeed reign. Please give my heartiest and strongest encouragement to our fellow warrior, and just let him know that what he's doing it not just for himself. He's doing it for his children, and he's doing it for your Jamaican children and mine, for every Jamaican who dares to hope and to exceed whatever their circumstances might be.
Will improve.
Absolutely. When you are denigrated, when you are beaten down, when you are called names, rise above it and challenge it. Let any man what did Christ say to he said, woman, where are your accusers? Let him who is without sin cast the first stone. So that is the mark we're making in the sand today. We are standing firm in our position. So go with God. And you, please stay with us. When we come back, we'll open the line so we can chat. This is the Morning Connection.
Bless FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry Smith. European Union foreign ministers are meeting in Luxembourg